石原さん。なんで下履いてないの？
暑くて。
そうなんだ。なんか今日の石原さん、妙に大胆っていうか。
どうぞ。
𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸 episode number 9. Happy to report this was a really good episode, I think. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't because of the fan service, and if you really like the fan service here, I think it was tastefully done. I am always a big fan of fan service in anime, but I'm a fan of fan service when it's done tastefully and done well. My Dress Up Darling is a really good example of fan service that makes sense. Now, does it kind of push the envelope in the way that the art is done? You could argue yes, but I would argue no, that it's done in story, as opposed to a lot of anime that force bath scenes, or they force onsen scenes, or they force these oddities of scenes that don't quite fit the narrative. I think in this episode of Watari-kun, right, they're beelining home from the rain. You know, there was a festival and it starts raining, and Watari's like, hey, my house is right here. Ishihara, stay with me. He sees crazy girl. What's her name? Suzuhara is her name, I think. Hold on, let me double check. I always make sure I write down the names because these characters, I'm horrible with names if you guys didn't know. Satsuki. So he sees Satsuki, and Satsuki came over, protect all the vegetables and stuff from the rain, and he's appreciative of that. He sees her. He's like, okay, both of you are gonna stay over at my house. It's crazy rain. You guys can get sick. Blah blah blah. So it's the fan service is all about them, in the bath together, kind of going at it. And Satsuki's a little crazy, and Ishihara is a little crazy in her own. And they're showing their voluptuousness and their curves and whatever else. And if that's what you love, hey, more power to you. I like it too. But it was done tastefully. Secondly, they have them in just like his shirt or whatever, and that was done tastefully as well. Now, for the episode, really, it could be summed up as Ishihara taking those really, really first steps. We saw her in one of the last episodes buy condoms. I was like, yo, that girl is crazy. But this episode, she was like, Satsuki is going to continue to be a barrier. I need to jump over that barrier. And the only thing she could think of offering up is her body. Now, if you are a younger adult, don't do that. You don't do that. I mean, that's really all I can say is don't do that. Obviously free will, you're free to do whatever you want, but that is definitely not the thing to put out there, because that won't be the thing to solidify your relationship. Just like if you're in a really rocky marriage, don't go have a kid because you think it's going to make things better. It simply won't. It'll put a band-aid on, or it'll put a patch on a leaky hole. Eventually it'll leak again. But, her thing is she's going to throw herself at him. And Watari, at the end of the episode, decides to, in the moment of him thinking about how Ishihara views him, he was like, you know what? This is the golden goose, the golden opportunity. But I just can't be this guy. So I actually, I genuinely think that, in that moment, I think he made the sound decision. Now, where I think he messed up is, obviously she was giving him the full course. I still think he should have eaten a bite. You know what I mean? I think he should have kissed her still, because they really haven't shared that kind of special moment. And I think what he should have done is, initiate a kiss and, let her know, like, hey, I want to make sure that anything further than this is special because you're special to me. And as opposed to just completely denying her, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth as a viewer, and that leaves a bad taste in her mouth, because now you're gonna get her mind spinning and thinking of like, am I just not enough? Because when you're bearing it all, you're gonna have those thoughts of like, I have nothing left to give. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So I thought he should have definitely gone in for a kiss and let her down, really easy, of just like, hey, I would love to, but I think this is where we need to pause because you mean more to me than that. So I didn't think he handled it well. And yeah, I mean, that's not really a judgment on the writing or anything. I just didn't like the way that this specific character handled it. And I think that does give Satsuki an in, because as opposed to Ishihara kind of, saying, come eat, Satsuki's more of the, the food's already in your mouth, homie. Like, you gotta eat it now. You know, so I think that does give her kind of an up or an advantage in this weird relationship that they have. Last thing is pink hair girl realized early on in the episode, you know, when she saw Ishihara, she realized that, you know, she doesn't just want a boy toy. She actually genuinely likes Watari for whatever reason. You know, I'm sure that that'll get revealed during like a flashback of when she was in middle school, but she does genuinely like him. And she realized that this episode when he kind of like nonchalantly kind of like turned her down, and she saw that, oh, he's not with some loser girl. He's with this like really bomb babe girl. So yeah. Overall, I think this episode was a solid 7 out of 10. You know, I know it might not sound like a glowing review, but considering what we've gotten with this show, I think 7 out of 10 is more than fair and an apt rating for this episode. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, my friends. See you guys next week. Peace.